We know who is starting at quarterback for Syracuse football against the Pitt Panthers on Saturday night. Fran Brown, head coach of Syracuse, he was adamant in his Monday press conference that Rickie Collins will start for the Orange on Saturday. Quote, Rickie Collins is our quarterback. We're going to stick with Rickie. End quote, I guess, because he said that for about 15 to 20 seconds. Those were just a couple of quotes that he mentioned. Fran Brown also declined to say whether or not preserving the redshirt year of Luke Carney is factoring in his decision to play him or not play him, whether it's to start him or to potentially insert him during the game for the team to maybe find a spark on offense, which they could have maybe done against Pitt. They weren't going to do that against Duke. That was his first start, but maybe they could have done that, against SMU, where they were struggling on offense and could have said, hey, let's give Luke Carney, the true freshman, a whirl. Let's see what the true freshman has got. But he actually said, quote, I just don't want to tell you all my secrets, end quote. So I have a question for you all, ladies and gentlemen. How do you interpret that? How do you interpret, I just don't want to tell you all my secrets? Because I'll tell you how I interpret it. And feel free to comment right now in the comment section below your thoughts on it. I think Chris Carlson, who asked the question to Fran Brown about the quarterback situation, I think he got him. Oh, I think he got Fran Brown to spill the beans without actually spilling the beans. There is definitely more to this quarterback decision than just 2025. Clearly. And we went over it plenty here on Locked On Syracuse. How, hey, guys, this is not just a who gives Syracuse the absolute number one best chance to win this season. You have to factor in the long-term ramifications of making a quarterback switch. We covered it extensively here on Locked On Syracuse. Now, I do want to be fair to Fran Brown because I don't want you guys to interpret me saying all that as if I think that Fran Brown is punting the season. I don't think Fran Brown is punting the 2025 season. That is not what I think he is doing. I think that if Luke Carney was definitively better than Rickie Collins from what they have seen in practice, if he was definitively better, I do believe that they would start Luke Carney ultimately over Rickie Collins. I genuinely believe that because at the end of the day, if you're Syracuse, yes, I know Steve Angeli is hurt. Yes, you're not going to contend for an ACC championship. You're not going to make the college football playoff. And you might call a bowl meaningless, but I don't think making a bowl is meaningless, especially if you can salvage a 6-6 season after your starting quarterback went down after 4 games. I think that's actually pretty successful. And I think that would be an achievement for Syracuse to make a bowl with a backup quarterback. I think it would make Fran Brown more desirable. Speaking of Penn State, I think he would be more desirable to Penn State if he were to turn this season around and make a bowl this season, or at least get more money on his current deal with Syracuse. So Fran Brown is definitely in the business of trying to win games in 2025. And another reason why I ultimately believe this is the case is because Luke Carney, the true freshman, is currently the backup quarterback for Syracuse football, which means he's 1 snap away from playing. It is literally as simple as Rickie Collins, like we saw against Colgate, his helmet could pop off and Luke Carney has to play 1 snap. But that 1 snap, guess what? That counts as a game played. That counts towards your ability to get a free redshirt year. If Fran Brown was truly so worried about the redshirt year, well, he would have redshirt freshman Jakari Williams be the backup quarterback because he wouldn't care about it. He's already done his red shirt. Why not just make him? So no, Luke Carney is very clearly the backup quarterback of Syracuse, but Fran Brown has to weigh the risk-reward proposition that he has right now, which is what is the reward of playing Luke Carney over Rickie Collins? Does it definitively give Syracuse the best chance to win games versus the risk of Luke Carney over Rickie Collins? And it's not definitive on which quarterback gives the team the best chance to win. And you're also burning Luke Carney's redshirt year. So overall, it's not a simple solution. It's not a simple answer, which is what we've already talked about here on Locked On Syracuse, how I support the decision to stay with Rickie Collins, just like I would have supported if Fran Brown came out on Monday and said, hey, we're rolling with Luke Carney as the starting quarterback against Pitt. Or, yes, we're going to play Luke Carney against Pitt if Rickie Collins struggles. I would support that as well. So here is what it really boils down to. Since I am in the business of, you know what, decide what you want and we'll just react to it here, just get it right. You just have to make the right decision if you're Fran Brown, which is easier said than done. But I don't know what the right answer is here. I'm sure plenty of you are going to have comments in the comments section below right now, what you think the solution is, whether Fran Brown's making the right call, staying with Rickie Collins, or perhaps switching to Luke Carney at some point. But for me, I don't really care what they do. You just have to get it right. It's as simple as that. Just make the correct decision. You want to go with Rickie Collins? That's fine. Be right about it. You want to switch to Luke Carney? You definitely have to be right about him because you don't want to be throwing away his redshirt year. So just make the right decision is ultimately in the camp that I am in right now.